Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Thought I would get on here and do a little live streaming. My wife may join me. She said she was going to try to run out here. She was busy, and who knows if she'll show up. If so, I'll scoot over and let her join in. But I don't know. I just wanted to get on here and say hi and maybe answer a few questions, but there was something that I wanted to show you that came out, I believe, yesterday. We'll show that here in a minute. Bama J, evening. Florida Rich, Bossman Last King, Robert Briggs, Yard Dog Prepper, all of you, thank you. Storm Chasing Goal, Unicorn Hollow Homestead, all of you, welcome to the live stream. And don't have anything specifically to talk about, but I do want to, before I get into answering any questions or just mumbling over myself, it's my Joe Biden impersonation night. Just kidding. I want to show you, let me open up the screen here. So this is on Twitter. This is kind of going around. I believe this was actually trending. So this is at the World Forum, economic thingy that happened over in Davos this past week. This is a video clip of this lady here. She's the European Commission Vice President, Vera Jourova. I don't know how that's pronounced because I don't speak what I'm assuming is like French or something. But anyways, I'm an American and I speak American. This here is Brian Steltler, and then next to her is a congressman, I think Seth Moulton, from Massachusetts. I believe that's his name. But anyways, I want you to listen to what she says. They are talking about free speech, so listen carefully here.
Well, we need the people who understand the language and the case law in the country, because what qualifies as hate speech, as illegal hate speech, which you will have soon also in the US. I think that we have a strong reason why we have this in the criminal law. We need the platforms to simply work with the language and to identify such cases. The AI would be too dangerous.
All right, so I don't know if you picked all that up. Yeah, Brian is a tool, Johnny. You're correct. So here she is. She is flanked by two Americans, an American broadcasting potato, and on the other side, a sitting U.S. congressman. And she is talking about how there needs to be illegal hate speech, and that I understand that you have your First Amendment in America. And she's looking at the congressman and Brian, the potato, Stetler, whatever. I've never actually watched the guy. I know about him from just seeing news stuff. He's nodding his head. Yep. And she says, I think you'll take care of that. I don't think it'll, you'll have that soon. I think you'll have illegal hate speech, meaning that the First Amendment is on the chopping block, according to the World Economic Forum. It did seem that was an ongoing theme in just kind of watching this past week with the World Economic Forum. A big theme was on disinformation, ending disinformation, ending hate speech, all of this kind of stuff. So among all the things that we deal with and that we are aware of happening, I'd say that because that seemed to be a big theme with a lot of the stuff I watched and read, I'd say that we're going to be dealing with more of that. We're probably going to see that pop up more in political matters and laws and just influence. And we've already seen that here in the United States already. Yeah, most of our politicians are globalist, Tom says. You're absolutely correct. Ginny from New Concord, Ohio, welcome tonight. In case you've all just joined in, my wife might join. I invited her. Something just fell off the shelf over there. We have someone in here sneaking around. No, but she said that she might join. She was busy tonight in the house with the kids. So we'll see if she jumps in here in a little bit for this live stream. I don't know that I'll go too long, but I wanted to talk about this First Amendment, freedom of speech. Like I said, it did appear. I mean, of course, their Davos meeting talked a lot about, climate stuff. It talked a lot about Ukraine, all of this global governance stuff. But it did seem to have a lot of focus on speech, on free speech, ending free speech, controlling speech, controlling disinformation. And here's where I suspect that this is going. Also in the news, there were a few news outlets that were, and I think there's a spin to this, okay? So don't think that this is great news necessarily, but they were trying to spin in the news that it appears this year that there's some of the steam has been let out of the whole World Economic Forum, meaning that it's not, it doesn't seem to be as popular. They were saying that there wasn't as many A-listers there. There seemed to be a lot of American representation there this year. I noticed a lot of American governors and congressmen and senators were there, but they were saying there wasn't a lot of A-listers, and that it just seemed that some of the world has just kind of lost interest in the World Economic Forum. It's not as influential as it once was. And then one of the things that they were talking about a lot was the disinformation, how they need to stop that. I suspect that somehow, some way, it's going to get spun that the reason that seemed to be apparent was because of all of this negative disinformation and conspiracy theories on the World Economic Forum of being these bad guys. That's kind of where I wonder if that's going to happen. But who knows? Actually, I'm just getting started, David. I see you said you're late. I just got started a few minutes ago. So you probably haven't missed too much other than a little video clip from the World Economic Forum meeting talking about how they suspect that the First Amendment is going to change here in America soon, is what they said. That it's changing. So did I lose the video? Can anyone see me? On my end, it shows that I'm broadcasting and everything's good. But I've got a couple of people in the chat saying that they lost the video. So if anyone can confirm that. But on my end, it's showing I'm seeing 5x5. Okay, maybe it was just one or two people that had problems, but it looks like we're still good on my end. Just a housekeeping stuff. Be nice in the chats, okay? I understand. All right, so we're good. It looks like we're good. I just saw a couple of people said that the video cut out, and it may sometimes for just a second, but it should get back on there. Let's be nice in the chats. I understand we're all opinionated and everything, but and for those trolls that may be lurking in there, well, we'll get rid of them. I used to be more tolerant, and maybe I'm just getting older, but I used to be more tolerant of people in the chats and in the comments. But I look at it this way: what we're doing with this channel and with those of you, the online community and the physical community we have here, we're actually trying to do something real, something of helping all of us get ready, creating a community where we're helping each other, whether it's mentally and sharing ideas and being support. And we just don't need all the garbage in the chat. So I've been a little bit more on the band stick here lately when they just get to be too much. I will go ahead and open up for any questions. So if you have any questions, you can comment and maybe bold letter or all caps or something like that so that I can see, but I will try to keep watching. Pray for police in Atlanta. I have been kind of watching that off and on. There's apparently a lot of the Antifa rioters and stuff have apparently put out some hits, or they have just announced that it's a fair game on law enforcement. So keep watching on that one. There's been more. Borrow a couple pinballs, executioners. Yeah, he's got it more organized when he does his live streams. So I'll tip my hat to him for that one, for certain. There seems to be more talk, and there has been some more recently of these power grids that's been hit. Snake Bite, thank you very much. He says, I will hold my ground. He or she, I don't know. I don't know what you identify as. No, it's just kidding. I will hold my ground. Amen to that. But there has been more of these power grid attacks in the last couple of weeks. Of course, you remember a few weeks ago, the one down in the Carolinas. I can't remember exactly where, that took out the grid in that area for a few days. And then there's been some up in the Pacific Northwest. There's been some down in Florida. I believe these are probably more organized than what we're being told. It's not that I have specific evidence of that, but I just believe that's probably the case. What do I think about 12-volt inverters? You mean for like a solar system? If you're doing a solar system, you'd need a sine wave inverter. That's the better ones. I have a small one that I use for certain things, but how long before these information videos become illegal speech? I don't know. They're already cracking down on this kind of stuff. Someone said pinballs executioners are watching here also. Awesome. I was just playing around the other day. There's a website. Oh goodness, I can't remember what it's called now. It just slipped my mind. Anyway, some of you probably you'll recognize it and say something. But you can go look up any YouTube channel, and it just tells you the stats, the general stats for that. Social Blade, I think, is what it's called. And so I was just looking at my stats, because over the last 30 days they've gone down. My viewership and everything's gone down, and so I was just seeing, if there's anything that I can figure out. And so I got to looking, and just about every YouTube channel that I can think of that talks about the kind of stuff similar to what I'm talking about, like Pinball and Bear Independent, a few others, that they're not just talking about the prepping stuff or homesteading stuff, but they're also talking about current events, and you know what I'm saying. All of their numbers are going down. It shows that there's less people watching it. It shows that their videos are being shown less. And I don't think that any of these people are putting out poorer quality stuff. I don't watch, all these other guys all the time because I'm busy, but occasionally I do watch them, and they seem to be putting out good quality stuff. I've talked to a few other people, and they're saying that they're seeing more, kind of cuts and less people watching it. We're seeing, so I think that we're already seeing a cut on speech, and I think it will first come from the private industry. Facebook's already been doing it. YouTube's been doing it, and so yeah, free speech is already on the chopping block. Someone says here, if you want to run all the conveniences of a typical home, you'll want to use a 48 volts battery system. There are certainly lots of videos and stuff on there, and you can set your batteries up, and you can, not that I'm recommending, but you could start off with just car batteries, and you set them up to where they're now 48 volts and versus 12, and then there's gel batteries, there's lithium batteries, there's all kinds of things. And then you get a power inverter that will convert that 48 volts into 120 and 240. I don't know if that answers any questions or not. Go back over here to the comments. Will you share more of how you live? Are you off-grid? How do you get water? All right, so our water system, we're on a shared well system, and it's a big one, so it's not a small well, but we are working on and have plans to have our own independent well. We also have a creek, and we do water storage also. So our main source, and we understand that that's not sustainable. We understand that the shared well is not a sustainable necessarily system, but it is what we have right now. What do I think about Homestead? Hold on. Someone asked, am I with Arkhaven? No, we have our own property. We are in southern Missouri. I don't know exactly where Arkhaven is, but I do know it's in Arkansas, and we're not with them. We have our own land, and our community isn't like all on one land. It's just people that, are trying to buy in the general area that we live in. What do I think of Homestead wind power? I am not sold big on wind power when it comes to it being a major source of electricity, because number one, it generally doesn't generate a lot of electricity. There's a lot more parts in it to fail. They need maintenance, and not everywhere has enough wind. But I do believe that there is a place in an off-grid system for a wind turbine, and that is at night. One of the things that really wears batteries down is the usage at night when they're not being charged, and they can get too low and it weakens the batteries, that deep cycle. And if you have of course you have to have the wind, but if you have a wind turbine so that at night it can potentially still be generating electricity and hopefully not draw those batteries down too low. But it's certainly, for the average person, you're not going to be generating a lot of electricity on a wind turbine. Do I read the books behind me? I haven't read all the books, I'll be honest with you, but I've read a lot of these books. I love to read. A lot of these books, I made a short of one of those YouTube shorts a couple of weeks ago doing close-ups of all the books, so I'm not going to go through them all. And this is not all of the books that we have. I just put this here for a backdrop. A lot of these books are like, little how-to books. Oh, they're in there so tight I can't hardly get them out. So it's not necessarily that you're reading like a book, but there are a lot of how-to books that we pick up and find little bits of information in them. But yeah, a lot of these books I've read. Down here at the bottom, where you can't see, starting on this shelf and down, there's a lot of Louis L'Amour books, old Western books. I like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've read quite a few of them. Where are we on the prophetic end times clock, in your opinion? I try not to get too deep into that talking. I try not to talk too much on that, because it's I don't feel that I am knowledgeable enough to go into that. But I will say that I personally believe that the time period where Yeshua is talking about, the days of Noah, the birthing pangs, where he says, these things are happening, but the end is not here yet, but it's kind of starting. I think that's, for me, I personally think that that's where we're at. And we may be getting close to that 7-year cycle, because, a lot of people point out that we're 7 years away from 2030. That doesn't mean that 2030 is the year. That's the year that the globalists have picked, okay? That doesn't mean that's the year for the biblical end and all that kind of stuff. Stephen asked if I've used the creek for hydroelectricity. No, but it is in the plans. I was hoping to get that kind of started this past year, but we've been so busy, much more busy than we expected with our growing community in the area, that was just something I couldn't get to. But it is in the plans, because it runs good enough for that, definitely. Someone asked if the Glock is hidden in the bookshelf again. No, it's down here on the table right now. Let's see. Hello from West Virginia. During SHTF, when most are headed to stores to loot, I'm headed to the library. That's true. I haven't done a video on that in a while. That was some of my more earlier work, but it still stands to be true that this kind of stuff, especially this stuff here, well, it doesn't say it, it's a Bible, but anyways, books need to be part of your prepping program. if you're depending on getting all your stuff from one of these kind of things, not a good deal. Not a good deal. You need to have books, and one of the things that we have invested in, and it's not expensive. It's not expensive at all, but we have a small laser printer. Yeah, it's not color. It doesn't produce beautiful images, but I can print high volumes for a really cheap price. And, we can buy a big box of paper, and there's a lot of good PDF files that are free for prepping, for how-to stuff, all this kind of stuff. A lot of these books that are on this shelf, I'm pretty sure you can find PDFs for either free or very cheap. And so we do also print that kind of stuff out. So yes. What are my thoughts on buying and using fish antibiotics? Well, number one, YouTube strictly prohibits me talking about that kind of stuff. Because I have before, and I got in trouble for it. In fact, I just found the other day, something was wrong with my channel. I had an alert on it, and hey, Jeremiah from Springfield. I'll get to your question here in just a second. Here, I had a strike against my channel, and I thought, well, I haven't done anything I didn't think lately, because it said medical misinformation strike. So I clicked on it and looked. They had given me a strike on a video that I had posted in March of 2021. Okay? So it's almost 2 years ago. I posted a video and they finally gave me a strike on it and removed it. Anyways, the fish stuff, I own some, but you can do what you want. How long do you think before the dollar collapse? In a lot of ways, I'm surprised it hasn't already. I'd say we're going to see digital currency probably, by mid-year, May to June. And I believe, depending on how things go globally, how things go with the Saudi Arabia oil thing, we could definitely see a dollar collapse before the end of the year. I believe it's within the realm of possibility. I'm not saying that I'm telling you it's going to happen. I believe it's definitely in the realm of possibility to see a dollar collapse before the end of the year. Let's see. Someone says, has 3.8 acres, 2.5 in grass pasture. How many sheep can I safely raise? Depending on the breed, because there's difference in size. But you could easily have a ram and 6 or 7 ewes, and that would produce quite a bit of stuff for you. Hello from Springfield, Missouri. Jeremiah, I believe an important item to have are physical books when the grid goes down. Absolutely. Do you have an opinion on the lost ways? I don't have that one. My mother... I have one of the other books, I think, that those kind of, they come from. It's something on wild foods. I haven't read that book. My mother asked me if I wanted that. She was thinking about getting it, or what I thought about it. Is it okay to mention your TPH platform or other prepper? Yes, you can mention any. I am totally okay with promoting other YouTube channels or other. If you have a YouTube channel, if you have some kind of content or something you're trying to do to help the prepper community, you're more than welcome to post it on any of my video comments or on TPH Network. Absolutely, I'm not opposed at all. What brand are the pants that I wear? They are Duluth, and I told this story before. I was protesting and fighting my wife over it because, not literally, but a couple of years ago, she told me that she's like, we need to I'm going to get you a pair of these Duluth pants. I hear they're really great. And I'm like, yeah, but they're expensive. And at the time, I was wearing things like Wrangler and stuff, and I'd noticed their quality had really gone downhill, and for those of you that homestead, your clothes, you wear them out faster. You should know, and if you don't, and you're wanting to homestead or live out like this, I'm warning you, you'll wear your clothes out faster. They get caught on barbed wire and rips and all that kind of stuff. And I noticed my pants, I was going through a pair of pants like in 3 months. And so she kept saying she was going to get me some, and I said, no, they're too expensive. Well, they had a sale, and they were like $20, $25 off a pair, and she ordered me a pair. And I absolutely love them. They are the most comfortable pair of pants I have ever worn. They, I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm still a big guy. I'm 6'2", I'm a husky guy, and they're so comfortable. And I have the very first pair she bought me. I still have them. I don't wear them anymore because I've lost too much weight. But as far as their looks, you can't tell that they're 2-year-old pants on a farm. There's no rips or tears. I love them. Hey, Jason, we need to get together on doing a video. You emailed me and I emailed you back, so I think we're playing email tag, but we do need to get together. Thank you, buddy. Want to get sheep, goats, and milk for meat this year, if the Lord allows. I have 1.5 acres of open land that they can use. Is there any breed to recommend? My favorite sheep breed, because of ease of them, is Shetland sheep. That's what we have. We have Shetland. They're primarily a dual purpose, but you can. We don't milk our Shetlands, but I've heard and I know people that do. And here's the reason why I like Shetland. They're not the most friendly, cuddly. They're not mean or wild. They're just not really crazy about people. Some sheep, they're just like little kittens, they're just on you all the time and what. These aren't. They're very independent, but they're a primitive, not just a heritage breed. They're a primitive breed of sheep. They're smaller. They produce really great meat, excellent wool, and they're small enough that you can easily process them yourself. They're not that difficult. You're not dealing with a large carcass. And the best thing is you have to do very little with them. Sheep especially, goats not quite as much, but sheep are very delicate, especially these modern breed of sheep that have been bred for big production farms. I mean, you're constantly having to give them medication to keep them alive, and constantly worming them and everything. With our sheep, I worm them a couple of times a year, whether they need it or not, and I don't have to help them with birthing, lambing or anything like that. They'll eat anything. So I like the Shetland sheep. I really do. They're super easy to take care of. Tried Duluth, but like Dickies lately. I have one pair of Dickie pants and I have some Dickie shirts. I like Dickie shirts better than I like Duluth shirts. I will say that. But Dickie makes good ones. Like I said, I'm not knocking Wrangler, but I used to, someone just said snakebite. Wrangler jeans have gone down. I wore growing up, like when I was a teenager and my early adult years, all I wore was Wranglers. That's all I wore. And I don't like them anymore. They're just not that good. Finn and Frisian sheep are good for milk. I know what they are, but I've never raised them. So Southern Oregon, what do y'all have planted? Right now we've got just onion and garlic is the only thing that, because we're trying to work on the whole garden area and expanding it, and then plans are of trying to get some of it under a hoop house. But so for only thing at this very moment that I can think of that's still out there is just onions and garlic. Let's see. Can you speak on wool socks? Absolutely. I guess. Someone got some Darn Tough brand. I've never heard of them. I purchased some online a while back. They were on sale. It was one of those holiday, Christmas type sales, and they were merino wool. I cannot remember their name, but they're really good. As far as just everyday socks, I like the oh goodness, Dr. Scholl's socks. They have a work sock, Dr. Scholl's work sock, and they last really good. I like them. Let's see, any other questions here? Did I miss something? Hey, Read the Torah says shalom, shalom. Snowy Blazer, how you doing? West Plains. Oh, we're having a meeting, not tomorrow, next Sunday, the 29th. For any of you in the chat that are local, Our local group meeting is the 29th of January, so if you can make it, please be there. Hand knit wool socks, not time efficient, but extremely warm. I bet. There is a young lady, and I'm not going to show you now, but, well, the blue stocking cap that I wear, she made it. She's 16, and she is amazing. Her dad texts me because her dad and I are buddies, and he's always texting me stuff. And when we shear our sheep this spring again, she's getting some of the wool, because she doesn't just knit, she takes the wool, raw wool, and makes yarn out of it. So I'm anxious to see what she makes out of it. Yeah, merino wool socks are great because they're nice. And yeah, I heard that Dr. Scholl's moved to Mexico. I heard the other day that a lot of Chinese companies, a lot of things that were being made in China are being made in Mexico now, because it's actually becoming cheaper to make them in Mexico than it is in China. Someone said their meeting in Tucson, Arizona got rained out. I hate that happened, but don't give up. Keep having more meetings. Thoughts on night vision or thermals for SHTF? I agree with that. In fact, I agree with that. I think they're good. In fact, for our local group, we're actually considering having some training classes on thermals, especially because the price of thermals have come down considerably from what they were. And of course, they're still not that really high military grade that, spec ops use and all that kind of stuff. But you can get some really good quality thermals for under $1,000 easily. And I know $1,000 sounds like a lot for a lot of you, but for what you can do, they've got these thermal scopes you can put on your gun, and you can connect your phone to it, and then allow people in your group to have access to that. So, in a defensive situation, if you've got one guy in the woods with this thermal on his scope and he's watching bad guys or just watching the area, you could have other people in your crew, your team, on their phones, of course, assuming there's cellular connection and everything, and they can be seen, what your rifle guy with the thermal. So, yeah, I think that they're a good thing. The blue hat is what she made for me. The blue stocking cap that I wear sometimes. I don't have it out here, but that's what she made for me. And she is, I'm telling you, if I don't have any of her other work or pictures, but she is amazingly good at what she makes. I always like bragging on her because it blows me away. The Naked Savage, so thank you very much for that. Do we have any? I don't know of any groups in Southeast Iowa. If any of you have any groups that you know of in that Southeast Iowa area, you're welcome to email me and help people coordinate. That's fine with me. Love to start a group in Northeast Texas, Longview, Marshall area. I believe there are some people in the Northeast Texas, but I can't remember them right off the top of my head. But, you folks are welcome to email me. I am behind on emails a few days, so if you're waiting for a reply, please keep waiting. I'm getting to them. I've just, the last week or two, it's just been a big uptick in the emails that I'm getting. So... but I do read them, and I do my best to respond back. Someone in Arnold, Missouri. Yes, we do. They're kind of a sister group of ours. The lady that started the one in Arnold, Missouri, she started coming to our group, and then she started one there. So if you want that information, you can email me, and I'll get you their information. They're in Arnold, Missouri. Any tips on water collection and storage if you live in the city? Well, it depends on your living situation. If you're in a suburban neighborhood, you might have at least some level of backyard or garage or something. You could look into the 55-gallon plastic drums. You can usually buy those all over the country for anywhere from $15 to $30. They're food grade. and you can store a lot of water, 55 gallons. You can keep those just filled. I mean, if you have city water, I know it's not great, but it's water. You can fill them up and just have them set in your yard with a tarp over them or in your garage. Always remember when you're storing large amounts of water that there's a lot of weight there. And so you want to make sure that wherever you're putting them, the weight can handle it. But that's something that you can look at. So if you're in an apartment, of course, you don't have as much room, and depending on if you're on the top floor or something like that, you may not want to be putting a lot of weight. Do I shear my own sheep? Yes. I'm not great at it. I'm still learning, but I'm not butchering them when I'm shearing them either. You're going to have to get more creative in an apartment if you're storing water, but those big blue 55-gallon drums are a great way to store water. If you're able to, they make those IBC totes or whatever, and those are, I think, 275 gallons. And of course, that's a larger amount of water, but it also takes up a lot more space, and transporting them, you have to have a pickup truck and all that. But for the average person, buy some of them lightweight 55-gallon drum food-grade barrels. You can bring them home and then just fill them up with your, outdoor faucet and keep them covered. You might want to set them up on some concrete blocks so that they're not directly sitting on the ground or something like that. And then you can add, do the math. You can find websites where it tells you how much bleach to add. If it's city water that's already treated, you're not going to have to add any for a while. And then you could, every 6 months to a year, dump them out and refill them. I mean, until you can't do that anymore. Hard assets, racks, seeds, hose, hardware, screws, nails over gold, silver are your thoughts. I would agree with that. I do advocate having gold and silver. I don't advocate having lots and lots and lots of gold and silver, and I only advocating investing in physical gold and silver for a preparedness purpose after you've got some of this other stuff. And so Fat Daddy's Outdoor Cooking is correct. Make sure you have seeds, that you have nails, screws, other types of hardware items. You can go to auctions, you can go to yard sales and stuff, and you can find guys that just have 5-gallon buckets of random screws and nails. And if it's cheap, buy it, because there could come a day that that's trades like gold and silver. Oops, missed one. Not sure how to purify rainwater for drinking. Well, rainwater is one of the easier ones to purify. It's not like you're pulling it out of a muddy pond. Something like a Berkey or an Alexa Pure gravity water filter should do pretty good with just rainwater. Let's see. Anyone else that has a good question, or just any question? Someone says 1964 quarters and dimes. This is my opinion, okay? I prefer, when I'm buying gold and silver, mostly silver, and I'm doing it with the intent that someday when the dollar crashes, I'm going to have something real money that I can go buy a loaf of bread or whatever. I'm usually buying silver, and I'm buying constitutional money, which is quarters, half dollars, and dimes that were made in 1964 or older. And there's a reason why. I know they're only 90% silver and not 100% or 9999 silver. But here's the thing. They're easy to buy. They're easy to get a hold of right now. It's fairly cheap to get it, silver price plus, a little bit more. But they're also globally recognizable. So let's say the dollar collapses and it's no more. 6 months from now, I'm trying to buy, a can of gasoline from some guy, and I hand him some old silver American money. He knows what that is, okay? He knows what that is. He knows that it's silver, and there's very little chance that it's been faked, that it's a fake silver or something, because it's worn, it's been circulated. It's really hard to fake a worn circulated coin. Now, if it looks brand spanking new, that it was just minted and it looks like aluminum, that's a little different. But something that's just a worn coin, it's pretty obvious it's silver. So I think, and from my opinion, that's why. And I stick mostly with quarters and then lots of dimes. So there's just my opinion again on silver. But certainly make sure you have the bullets and the screws and the nuts and the bolts and the nails and that kind of stuff. 64 or older, you can buy it on APMEX or SD Bullion or moneymetal.com. You can buy, a lot of people refer to it as junk silver. I don't have any handy, but it's just American coins. You know, quarters, dimes, half dollars, and it's called junk silver. Goldbacks are overpriced. That's true, but you are paying a premium because it's just gold, and then it's also new technology. And I've been hearing that they're working on getting the process improved and cheaper so that you can get goldbacks. I have a few, but I don't have a whole lot. Someone says you can get 55-gallon drums at Tractor Supply. That's true. You know, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, there's people on there all the time trying to sell those. And I see them, I'm sure it's different in different areas, but around here, the 55-gallon drums, food-grade drums, are about $15, $20 a barrel. So someone says the $55-gallon drums are $150 a barrel. What? I was literally, there's an ad I just saw just the other day here, because I was thinking about buying some more, because I have a bunch, but I was thinking about buying some more, and they had a whole truckload of them. I think they were $15 or $20. That's here locally. Yes, silver has a wave. Yes, you can tell silver. When you jingle your change, jingle regular, you know, current money that has no silver in it, and then jingle some with silver, there's a distinct difference. What is a good price for junk gold and silver? You know, I haven't bought any in over a month, and it fluctuates. Typically, the places that I buy from, it's usually whatever the spot price of silver is trading plus $5 to $7 is usually what it is. So let's say silver is at $25 an ounce. You're going to pay probably $6 or $7, that plus $6 or $7 more an ounce. So you're going to probably pay $31 an ounce for junk silver. Is what you're getting. Yeah, I've never bought barrels on Amazon. I just buy them from Billy Bob's that sell them on, you know, online and stuff. Someone here says they're $15 to $18 in West Arkansas. That's, you know, like I said, $15 to $20 is what I see them for here. How do you use silver to keep milk fresh longer? I don't know. Yeah, $15 to $20. The 275-gallon food grade IBC totes are $90 to $100. That's about right. I still see them occasionally for what they used to be, which was for between $40 and $60. Yeah, Tractor Supply went woke and supports drag queens, drag shows. Yep. Buying rounds or bars are the cheapest. So silver rounds or bars where there's no collectible value. You're just getting a chunk of silver. That is the cheapest way to buy, typically. How do people join our community? Well, I'm not necessarily going to tell that on YouTube, but the best way is just to get to know us first. There's no online kind of thing. You have to be here in person if you're talking about the physical, and so that starts with just coming to our monthly meetings. And those are open to the public. We have public monthly meetings that anyone can come to. So that's how people kind of get going in our community. Tractor Supply loves ESG. Yeah, it's right all over their corporate website. You go on there, they have a whole tab. People were arguing when that all came out, when Doug and Stacy, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, everyone was like, oh, no, he's wrong. If you go to Tractor Supply's corporate website, you click, there's a tab right there, ESG. That's true. I hadn't thought of that. Silver coins in the milk. Silver's a natural antibiotic. Yeah, you would probably just put silver, put a couple of coins, one or two in the... I've never done that before, but I know that silver it's anti-microbial, I think. So yeah, and ESG is environmental social governance. That's correct, John. And it's basically the real predecessor for the social credit system. And it's probably never going to be called the social credit system here in the United States. We heard that in China. That's what they're talking about in China, and it's got such a bad name. They're going to wrap it up in a pretty little bow, and they're going to sell it to you as something else. They're not going to call it social credit scores here in the United States. So that's how they get away with it. They get you so wrapped up on that one term, and then they come out with something, they call it different, and make it sound good, like, oh, it's not the same. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Does it matter if it's pasteurized or not milk? I don't know. Johnny may know that, because I don't. I don't drink pasteurized milk. We haven't drank pasteurized milk in a very, very long time, so I don't know. Powdered milk is definitely something to have on hand. Someone says it's good to for prep. Powdered milk's definitely good to have. We bought ours. The last time I bought powdered milk, I bought a bunch from an LDS store. I've talked about that. I know I'm not LDS. Every time I mention one of their stores, someone asks me, are you Mormon? Are you LDS? No, I'm not. But they do have stores that are open to the public. You don't have to be LDS. There are not a lot of them. There's only a few across the country. And one time I got there and I bought a whole bunch of powdered milk from them. Big cases, and it's all sealed up. It has like a 15, 20-year shelf life or something. I'm just saying. If you have one around you. If you live near a big city, that's usually where they're at. They're not out in the country. It's like 3-hour drive from here is the next one. Pinball is also a good one. Yeah, pinball's a friend of mine. People, I guess they're naming off different YouTube channels that are good. That's great. Do it. If what I do here can help promote other guys and gals that are doing good work, certainly do it. Someone asked if you can trust an eBay seller to buy bulk freeze-dried egg, meats, powder, and milk from them. Boy, I don't know about that. I mean, I think eBay has some kind of protection that if they don't sell the right thing, you can get your money back, I think. I don't do a whole lot of buying and selling on eBay, or no selling, but hardly any buying. But I don't know. I mean, if it's stuff that they have made, like they have freeze-dried it themselves, I'd be a little skeptical of that. If they're just selling stuff that's already manufactured and stuff, that might be okay. Yeah, someone said you can order from the LDS stores online. You can. I've never done that. I probably should, but I just went to one of the stores in person. Adapt 2030, he puts out some good stuff. Suspicious Observers, Bear Independent. These are all guys that they all, John right here says they all serve an important purpose. They do. None of us are all alike. We're not all saying the same thing. And it's good to get a well-rounded opinion, because I certainly am not 100% right on anything. So, yeah. And I don't look at any other kind of prepper type YouTube channel as a competitor at all. And I've talked personally to several of them, and they tell me they feel the same way. So I think that's kind of cool. We don't always agree with each other, but that's fine too. The Max channel, yep. Alaska Prepper, oh yeah, Rudy, he's a good guy. Watch Rain Country. Yep. Good. You guys are mentioning some good YouTube channels. Some good ones. There's a lot of good people out there. The prepper community, I've always said they're some of the coolest people. They're really genuine people. I know that there's some flakes. There's some creepy people and stuff, but they're that way in any segment of society. Any group of society, you're going to find Deep South Homestead, yes. you're going to find the bad people. But I think the prepper community is pretty awesome. Jason says there's a public hearing in Jeff City on Wednesday for SB 100. Are you going to speak in support of it? I don't believe I'm going to be there, but if anyone hearings, I'm glad you mentioned it because I forgot to mention that. Here in Missouri, Jefferson City, the SB 100, for those of you in Missouri that don't know, that's the gold and silver bill. I don't know that I'm going to be able to be up there. It's possible. And a lot of it also we're supposed to be getting quite a bit of snow here Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So that could also, and I'm a few hours away from Jeff City, so. Anyways, is using large, thick plastic laundry detergent bottles for emergency fuel storage wise? I don't know about that. I'm not sure about the plastic of them. Depends on emergency fuel. I'm assuming you're talking like gasoline. I haven't looked into the type of plastic that they're using. I would think it would be okay and not degrade too much over the years, but man, I certainly haven't. Yeah, someone says Prepper Nation Beaverines. Yes. I haven't looked into that, so that's something that I cannot comment on either way. Yes. You guys are really mentioning some really good prepper channels. Some of them I've forgotten. I haven't watched in a while. I'm glad you're doing that. I may have to go back and read this when it's over so I can. Someone says they miss Ice Age Farmer. I wish I could tell you what's. I haven't heard from him. I've reached out to him. I saw a video that Bear Independent did the other day, and he actually said the same thing, that he's reached out to him and hasn't heard. Have fun. And I'm sure you guys have a much more enjoyable experience than me just, sometimes I feel like I'm doing my Joe Biden impersonation out here, mumbling through this. Southern Prepper 1 is great. Deep South Homestead. Yep, those are all good ones. Someone says they get soft in about a month. The plastic breaks down. So I kind of wondered that because gasoline is a solvent, so that's why you have to be careful about what you put it in, because it will break stuff down. Thank you, Buffalo Bob. Ice Age does have a website, and I don't know why he's not doing videos, but at least I'm not aware where he's doing them. If you were going to impersonate Biden, you would have to fall off your bicycle. Yeah. David the Good is a great channel. Yes. You guys are all mentioning some really good YouTube channels for people to watch, that's great because it helps expand your knowledge and understanding. James Woods for president. Thank you, Sean. Patera Appalachia Homestead is a good one. Yeah, you guys are all mentioning Prepper Nurse 1. Good YouTube channels. Like I said, it's a good YouTube. It's a good community. And there's good people, not just the YouTubers, but the people, the preppers. Our local community, the people that are involved at all this kind of region and stuff. They're just all really good-hearted people. They're the kind of people that, I can call up and say, hey, so-and-so over here, they've got a leaky roof, or, they need some help working on their car. And I'll have more people than that's needed say, hey, yeah, okay, I'll get over there. Let's plan a day. Let's do it. And so they're very giving people. Or if, someone is in need of something, I'll put the word out. And I have to actually kind of be careful in our community, because if someone, I'm just going to make something up. Let's say they have a child that needs a coat. If I put the word out that, hey, we've got someone, a 5-year-old boy that needs a coat in our community, we'll have like 50 coats show up. So I have to be careful because people are so giving. Brandon says, what do you think America will look like if China or Russia takes over complete control? I would be shocked if Russia takes over control. I think Russia is they're very nationalistic, and I think they just want Imperial Russia back. That's my opinion. It doesn't mean it's correct. My opinion is that they just want Imperial Russia back, and they're not really big on global domination. I think China is. They are, and I think that China, they just want some cheap slave labor. They want to expand their control over the world, and they need cheap slave labor because they're running out. They have a population issue, a declining population issue, and so I think someone said So I think that's probably would happen with China, but it doesn't mean it'd be good. It'd be bad. Campfire Chef said they emailed me the other day about searching for land in that area. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it, and it's on my list. I should respond here in the next day or so, like probably tomorrow. Hidden Preppers, another good channel. Prepping 2.0 is a great podcast. Yes. BRICS is part of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, and the list just keeps going. It's added and added, and they are working and developing a gold-backed currency that is true. Marfugal News, I actually just watched a video of theirs today. So yeah, BRICS is trying to. I think they're trying to take down the U.S. dollar for certain. I mean, they've pretty much said that. Someone says, folks, start planting your seeds now. You can carry them in and get them a head start. Yes, this is we're getting into the end of January. And now if you're in like North Dakota, that may be a little early, but you're getting close to the end of January, 1st of February for, say, Zone 6 and South, maybe Zone 5. Some of you that are in Zone 5 might want to comment that you're getting into that window of time period that some of your summer plants that you could start their seeds now, have them indoors, on nice warm sunny days, you could set them out. Yes, you are getting into that time period, folks. Things like tomato plants and stuff, especially if you have like a greenhouse, a hoop house, you could go ahead and start them now inside, and then by the time they're ready to go be more outside, the hoop house should be warm enough. So really, folks, work on your gardens this year. Yeah, Facebook covers my videos, some of them with false information. Yeah, every time anyone shares one of my videos on not all of them, but most of my videos on Facebook, there gets to be like a false information flag, or the fact checker said I was wrong kind of thing. Facebook does that a lot on my stuff. Yes, Biden met with Mexico and Canada to sign some. Yes, someone asked this. Someone asked, did Biden meet with Mexico and Canada? Yes. Biden signed with the Mexican president and the Canadian prime minister a declaration of North America. It's another continuance of this North American agreement and everything, but this one has a lot of focus on environmental, on being all-inclusive about people's gender and identity and all that kind of stuff, and then also essentially trying to encourage an open border policy between Mexico, Canada, and us. But yeah, it's essentially giving away America's sovereignty a little at a time. Sanctified Supply Co. is in the house. We are looking forward to the next meetup. Those are some of the coolest people. If you're not familiar with Sanctified Supply Co., they make amazing t-shirts and hats and stuff, and some of the nicest couple that you've ever met. So you can go to them. They're planning on migrating 100 million illegals into America. I would agree with that. That's part of their plan, is they want the borders open. They want people to be moving in and taking over from other countries. That's what they want. That's why it's happening. How quickly do you think things will shut down once the dollar starts into hyperinflation? Once that happens, the hyperinflation or just the collapsing of the dollar, that will happen very rapidly. It could happen in easily less than a week time, a few days. When you go back and you look at like Germany and even Venezuela and other places that's happened, once it hits that, there's that high inflation, the dollar's losing value. It's still being used, but it's losing value. And then once it hits to that hyperinflation point where it's collapsing, it's a free fall, and it's fast because people know what's happening and they want to get out fast. So it's very possible that Monday it's bad, and by Wednesday, Thursday, they're burning dollars in the streets because, that's historically speaking, it's going to happen fast. Put on the full armor of God every day. This is spiritual warfare, and it's going to intensify. Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cyber attacks are a constant issue, man. They're happening all the time. World Economic Forum warned this week of a, critical crashing, big cyber attack over the next year or two, which means they're letting you know they're going to do something to cause that. Just pointing out. Yes, when people were running the banks in 1929, they weren't going to take their dollars out. They were going to take their gold and silver out. Exactly, because back then you could still get the gold and silver out. Now, yeah, it's not going to happen. And there's not going to be any running to the banks. No one goes to banks anymore. They're just going to shut your card off, You just won't get to, just like the other day was at Bank of America. They showed lines of people trying to get their money out. And they're like, no, sorry, your account is zero. You don't have any money in your account. Of course, they said later it was some kind of glitch, but, maybe it was a trial run. Are credit unions safer than banks? Well, sort of, but they're all part of the Federal Reserve System. They're using Federal Reserve money, so if the dollar collapses, the credit money you have in a credit union's is gonna be just as worthless. Someone says they're pulling their 401k. I received an email this week, and I want to preface it by saying this. I'm not saying this is absolutely happening. I'm saying this is the information that I received. It may be completely fake, or it may not be 100% true. Person said that they work for J.P. Morgan Chase, in not just like as a teller, but kind of higher up, and that they were being told that they were going to start putting restrictions on 401k withdrawals. Not like once you retire, but like, where you can borrow money against it and that kind of stuff, depending on how you have it set up. Many of you can borrow like against it before you're actually at your withdrawal, and that they were going to start cracking down on that, making that difficult. Yes, the FDIC is insolvent. Anything that is backed by the FDIC, that means nothing to me. FDIC insurance, it means nothing. So I don't, that doesn't, make me feel good at all to see that on any kind of building. Someone said that, talking to Sanctified, said they got their Shema patch the other day. I put it on my other hat. I should have wore it tonight, but I actually had someone email me the other day, if Sanctified, if you're still listening, and they're like, where'd you get that new patch for your hat? I want one. So hopefully they will be ordering one soon from you. Locally independent banks are being bought out by bigger banks everywhere. Absolutely. It's getting really difficult to find local independent banks. They're putting so much pressure on them. It's becoming very difficult for small little independent banks to even exist, and they want that. But like I said, if the dollar collapses, we're not talking. That's different than if the banks start failing. That's a different situation. If the dollar collapses, it doesn't matter if it's a local bank or a big bank or an FDIC. It doesn't matter. It all has the same money in it, same currency. It's going to be worthless. Get out of debt now. That's a good thing to do. All right, folks. This has been good considering it's just me talking, and it's not as fun when my wife isn't out here. But she's over here texting me. I'm not going to tell you why she's texting me, but she's over here texting me. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, even though I enjoy talking with all of you. Someone says non-ethanol gas lasts longer. That's right. If you're stocking up on gasoline, please don't stock up on gasoline that has ethanol in it. It degrades a lot faster, and it's just not good to have anyways. Been saving for a house, keep saving or change course and spend. I'm not an advisor, but I would maybe downsize what you were gonna, I don't know what you were gonna get, but you could still be saving, but maybe not try to get something as expensive or something like that. That would be something to look at, is to just try to, should we abandon our pistol braces? No. I mean, well, I can't tell you, I'm not abandoning it. It's no. But you do what you want. Hey, before you guys get off here, if you could give me any likes. Someone said that there's only just a couple of likes on this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm, that's all. Have ever tried more fringe versions of energy production like wood gas? Oh, that is my favorite thing, even though I'm not doing it. Stephen Wood asked about wood gas. Wood gasification. That's my big interest right now. And I took a class a couple of years ago, an old kind of hippie guy. I love those old hippie guys that lives in the woods, kind of thing, or totally off-grid. He put on a class on wood gasification. And I knew about it before then, but man, it just intrigued me. And there's a guy in our local group that's wanting to do it too. And so we're going to try to work on some wood gasifiers. I would love to buy like an old mid-'80s little Toyota or Nissan pickup and convert it over to wood gasification. I think that's the coolest thing. Invest in food and land and the way to protect both. Amen. All right, folks. Thank you all for being on here. As you're signing off, if you wouldn't mind to give it a thumbs up, it helps out on the algorithms. You are amazing, all of you, and I appreciate you so much. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep focused ahead. Things may not be wonderful and great, but if we keep our minds clear and our hearts pure and focused on God the Father and His Son, then we can get through this, okay? We can make it. And so keep focused on doing that, folks. You are amazing. I will catch you in the next video, folks. Thank you for watching, and remember, mental, physical, and spiritual preparedness is what you need.